After Cell had told the heroes about his upcoming tournament, he went to go and make an arena for this event. He then goes to the ZTV station and makes his announcement, which the heroes at Kame House see right away. He says that the tournament will be in 9 days. Anyone can fight him, and if he wins, he will kill everyone. Afterwards, he blasts his way out of the TV station and leaves. While at Castle Corporation, Vegeta gets ready to go back to the lookout to go into the time chamber again, which, at the lookout, Gohan and Goku exit the chamber a couple hours early, as they were in their Super Saiyan form. Goku then changes back to his normal clothes while Gohan asks Piccolo to make an outfit for him that is like his own. Vegeta then asks Goku if he can beat Cell, so he teleports to Cell to check out his new form. While there, he tells Cell he will only fight if he doesn't kill anyone else until then. When he returns, he doesn't think he could beat Cell, but they can't suggest him to go in the time chamber again since he already went in twice now. Since Vegeta was demanding to be the one to go in next, he would go inside with Piccolo, as Piccolo was thinking about going next anyway. Normally, Gohan doesn't go in for a second day. Since Goku went in for a second day, Gohan would probably go in for his second day with Piccolo. After them, the two Kales would go into the time chamber together for a day. They could go in together for a second time as well, but I think Kale might want to use her second day with Sala, and future Kale would want to use her second day with Sala as well, so that she isn't left out of the training. Anyway, after they finish planning and discussing that, Goku takes Gohan down to see Korin. He has Korin compare his power to that of Cell's, which Korin confirms his suspicions that he isn't as strong as Cell. Regardless, he then goes to Kame House and gets Chi-Chi, so they can then return home and spend time together. In the time before the Cell games, the Royal Defense Force tries to attack Cell, but he easily kills them all. Goku then goes back to the lookout, which is where they make the plan for him to go to New Namek and get another Namekian to become Earth's guardian. Meanwhile, King Furry makes a broadcast saying the Royal Defense Force going there was his fault, and that he hopes the hero will step forward. So, Goku goes to King Kai's planet to find New Namek, and after he fills King Kai in on everything, he does help him locate the planet. When Goku arrives on New Namek, he talks with Mori and tells him everything, so Mori suggests that Dende can become their next guardian. He then returns to the lookout with Dende, which is when Piccolo was surprised to see him. Also at this time, Hercule went on the TV and made a statement saying that he will bring down Cell. Anyway, Goku then goes and gets Gohan and Krillin, and brings them to the lookout. Dende then uses the model of the dragon to remake the Dragon Balls. Goku then lets Gohan stop his training after his second day in the time chamber so he could spend time with Dende. After Kale finished her days in the time chamber, Goku would have an idea to potentially help her with her anger eventually. So he would take her to planet Yardrat to introduce her to Paibara and the others. He knows about her boost of anger and her trying to control them, so he thinks that training with the Yardratians could help her. He would have introduced her earlier, but they were busy training for the androids, so he didn't think about it at that time. After getting introduced, she would take note of the planet's location, so that she could find her way back. Goku then took her back to the Earth, as he then went to go get the Dragon Radar from Bulma. He then went and collected the Dragon Balls, and then finally, the day of the Cell games arrived. Goku then teleports to the lookout, as he talks with everyone briefly, which is when they inform him that Dende forgot to tell him they still can't revive someone who died once already. Regardless, they then leave, and at the Cell games arena, Cell was waiting for them. Jimmy Firecracker was already there reporting the event, when Hercule then arrived early. Hercule then steps onto the stage and waits Jimmy Firecracker to come down to him. Once he comes down, Hercule speaks to him for a minute and tries to taunt Cell, but he's ignored as Vegeta flies in. When the reporter tries to talk to him, Vegeta just tells him to get lost. A now repaired 16 with the Castle Corporation logo on his chest is the next one to show up. After that, Goku, Gohan, Sala, Kale, Future Kale, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha show up together. 16 then goes on to thank Krillin and the two Kales for helping get him repaired, as when Kale and Future Kale had free time, they helped Bulma and Dr. Brief with repairing him. Goku then tries to talk with 16, but he tells Goku to never forget that he was created to kill him. Goku was going to go first, but Hercule was insisting on going, so Krillin told Goku just to let him go. Anyway, Hercule then took off his cape and champion's belt as he prepared to take Cell on. He then did his demonstration of smashing 14 tiles and got into his battle stance shortly afterwards. Though as he runs at Cell, none of his punches or kicks do anything to him. So, Cell gets tired of this and easily swats him away, much to the shock of Jimmy Firecracker. Goku then stepped into the ring, as he decided to take his turn of fighting Cell first. As he and Cell prepare to fight, Hercule makes comments about him not lasting 5 seconds against Cell. However, Hercule is soon proven wrong as Goku goes blow for blow with him and uses the Kamehameha. The Cell swipes it away, but Goku then teleports behind him and punches him. They then go blow for blow a little more before landing and deciding to end their warm-up. The two of them power up, and Cell allows Goku to strike first, so he starts beating him down. Cell then started to use a Kamehameha, but so it didn't damage the Earth. Goku jumped up into the air, so Cell would aim it at him. And once he fired it, Goku teleported out of the way and then attacked Cell from behind once again. Until when Goku tells Cell he can teleport, and asks if he would have destroyed the Earth, which Cell says he would have in a heartbeat. Cell then starts pummeling Goku, and points out that that even if he can't teleport, he's still fast enough to appear behind Goku. As their fight continued, Cell was worried about them going out of bounds, so he decided to get rid of that rule. He started charging a blast, so Goku told everyone to get away from the ring, as Cell then fired it and destroyed the arena. 16 ended up saving Hercule, Jimmy Firecracker, and the cameraman, then told them to leave, but they still refused to since Hercule was supposed to fight Cell again after Goku. They then start to fight again, as Goku rises into the air and charges his Kamehameha, but Cell tells him not to fire it, as it would damage the Earth. He was shocked to see Goku didn't listen, but he was even more shocked as Goku appeared in front of him and fired the Kamehameha at point-blank range. This blasted off Cell's head and arms, but they were shocked to see he was still alive, as his body got up and regenerated itself. They soon start fighting again, and Goku forced him into using a force field. Meanwhile, at Kame House, Roshi and Bulma were watching the broadcast of the fight, but Roshi points out that Goku knows he can't win, but he doesn't know what his plan is. When future Kale was trying to get Goku a senzu bean, Vegeta told her to shut up and ask where her Saiyan pride is, as Goku wouldn't want to win that way, as Goku is no longer fighting just to save the Earth. Then, to the shock of all the heroes in Cell, Goku says he gives up, as he knows he can't win. However, he didn't ask Cell if he can choose who the next fighter would be, since there's only one that can beat him. Then, to everyone's shock, Goku tells Gohan that it's his turn to fight. As Goku flies up there, Piccolo, Krillin, and Kale try to talk him out of this, but Goku asks Gohan if their battle was too tough for him. Though, Gohan thought neither him nor Cell were using their full power, but Goku reveals he was doing his best, so Goku convinces him to give it a try. He then removes his weighted clothing and flies over to face Cell. However, Goku still does his usual thing of getting a senzu bean and giving it to Cell so it would be a fair fight. Regardless, Gohan then powers up after Cell eats the senzu bean, as he prepares to fight him. As Cell lands and charges at Gohan, the young boy manages to dodge all his attacks at first, though Cell eventually grabs him by his shirt and punches him before blasting him away. Gohan then comes out relatively unscathed, as he then tells Cell they should stop fighting, that this is pointless, that he doesn't like to fight, and he doesn't want to kill anyone. When Gohan mentioned he thought Goku's plan was to see his anger come out, so he got stronger, this just motivated Cell to make Gohan angry. They then start going blow for blow with each other, but Cell then grabs Gohan and starts to crush him. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, Kale's anger would start rising a little when seeing Gohan being beaten around like this. Even Piccolo would be getting angry, so he tries to finally get the point across to Goku that Gohan doesn't want to fight. He would tell Goku that his son isn't feeling rage right now, he's confused why his father isn't helping him. Piccolo then takes off his weighted clothing since he was going to help Gohan, but Goku then asks Krillin for a senzu bean. Cell then charges at the heroes and steals the bag of senzu beans from Krillin before Goku could get one. Gohan then tries charging at Cell, but he is easily knocked away, with Cell telling him if he's going to get mad, he should do it for real. However, 16 then rushes in and grabs Cell, as he plans to blow himself up, which would take Cell and everyone else there out with him. When it doesn't work, this confused 16, but Krillin tells him when he was being repaired, Dr. Brief took the bomb out of him. So, Cell then blasts 16 to pieces and kicks his head away. This would anger both Gohan and Kale a little, which it only angers Kale if she would have bonded with 16 over things like nature after he finished being repaired and she got to talk with him. Afterwards, Cell then counts how many heroes there were, and goes on to make 9 Cell Juniors, which they all then charge at the heroes, as Vegeta and future Kale would go Super Saiyan. Cell likely would have achieved Super Saiyan training with future Kale in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, so she would transform as well. However, with Kale, she was on the verge of achieving Super Saiyan, but she didn't tap into it quite yet. Though, with her future self's help, she did manage to achieve her wrathful form again. However, she's still reluctant to fight, even though her future self tried to help her get over that. Regardless, the Cell Juniors would start beating down the heroes, but starts to anger Gohan, so his power raises a little. As this happens, Goku would apologize to them, as he didn't expect it to go this way. Since 16 was still able to talk, he then asks Hercule to take him over to Gohan. Hercule then refuses, but 16 asks if he wants to help, since he is the world champion. So, Hercule relents and starts carrying 16's disembodied head over to the battlefield. Meanwhile, as the heroes keep being beaten down, Gohan was still getting angrier. So, Cell gives the Cell Juniors permission to kill the heroes. This is when Hercule then throws 16's head towards them, as it lands between Gohan and Cell. He then starts to tell Gohan that it isn't a crime to fight for good, and that he knows how he feels, but he should set his anger free. He would also see Kale on the sidelines refusing to fight, but he would speak louder so she could hear him as well. 16 would tell her the same advice he gave Gohan, but he would also ask her to protect the wild animals and forests they both loved, so that they aren't destroyed. However, Cell then crushes 16's head, which finally causes Gohan to snap. This does anger Kale as well, but in the back of her mind, she still has a doubt of her being able to do anything, since she isn't a Super Saiyan. She might slip into her wrathful form though, if she starts to fight with the Cell Juniors. Regardless, Gohan then starts to scream in rage and power up, which distracts everyone from their fights. Gohan then goes into his Super Saiyan 2 form, as Cell realizes he changed. Though he walks towards Cell and takes the bag of senzu beans, before going on to face the Cell Juniors. He easily kills the first one, much to Cell's shock. When the others charge at him, he easily kills the other 8 Cell Juniors as well. Gohan then tosses the bag of senzu beans to future Kale, telling her to give them to everyone. He then turns his attention back to Cell, while Vegeta watches on in shock that Gohan has achieved this level of power. After future Kale gives the senzu bean to Krillin, he gets distracted with the ongoing fight. Since he was shocked Gohan managed to get them back from Cell, but future Kale just tells him to run. After future Kale gives senzu beans to everyone else, Cell powers up to his full power, which starts to cause the planet to tremble. Regardless, as they start to fight, Gohan manages to dodge all his attacks and lands hard hits of his own. After getting pummeled, Cell flies into the air and charges a full power Kamehameha, telling Gohan to take it head on, but Gohan easily counters it with a Kamehameha of his own, which extremely injures Cell. Goku then tries to tell Gohan to hurry and finish Cell off, but he refuses, saying Cell deserves to suffer more. So, Cell powers up into his buff form, but since it slowed him down a lot, he can't land a hit on Gohan. This was the same mistake he'd mocked future Kale for earlier, so this just goes to show he is currently blinded by rage. Gohan then hits him hard enough that he regurgitates Android 18, thus reverting to his semi-perfect form. So, in his desperation, he begins charging up as he goes into his fat form. The heroes were confused what he was doing, so he tells them to say goodbye, as he was going to self-destruct in 60 seconds. Gohan was going to attack Cell to kill him right away, but he told them he'd explode the second he was hit. As it gets down to 10 more seconds, Goku tells him that he's been thinking, and he only has one way he knows that he can save the Earth. He then tells them bye, guys, as he teleports away and appears in between Gohan and Cell. Goku then tells Gohan that he did well, and he is proud of him, as well as telling Gohan to tell his mom that he's sorry. Goku then teleports himself and Cell to King Kai's planet, which is when Cell explodes, killing both Goku and King Kai. Gohan then starts to cry as Krillin and Kale come over to comfort him, while Kale picks up Android 18. Meanwhile, another world, after King Kai berated Goku for killing him and destroying his planet, Goku mentions not seeing Cell's soul, which King Kai mentions he's right, and then explains that means that Cell isn't dead, back on Earth. Vegeta was in the process of telling Kale to destroy 18, but she refused and she's still a person. This is when a wind kicked up, as a blast comes out of the dust, hitting future Kale in the chest. The dust then cleared to reveal Cell in his super perfect form, as he explained that his core remained intact, so he was able to regenerate, which he then teleported back to Earth by copying Goku's instant transmission technique. Gohan then powers up to take on Cell, while Kale looks over at her dead future self in shock. As she screams in rage, she turns into her wrathful form once more. It doesn't stop there, though, as her anger has reached its breaking point. Not only did 16's death and final message get to her, but she was also blaming herself for Goku and her future self's death. If only she listened and acted, and might not have been in this mess. Cell might have been killed if she had helped Gohan earlier, but she let her fear of being useless get control of her. So, lightning would start striking around her with the ground crumbling at her feet, while she started to scream in rage. Though, she would also be crying during this, out of the sadness of 16, Goku, and her future self dying. So, her hair would flash between black and yellow, and she then lets out one final scream of rage and agony, as her hair turns solid yellow, which, unlike Vegeta trying to fight Cell alone, she would fight him together with Gohan, as they fire a barrage of blasts at Cell. He would be getting pushed back by this a little, but he eventually teleports behind Kale and slams her to the ground. He then went to blast her, but Gohan got in the way, taking the blast for her, but this injured his left arm. Since both he and Kale were down, Vegeta turns Super Saiyan and rushes in, trying to attack Cell. Even with his own barrage of Ki Blast not doing anything to Cell, he still tries punching him, but he is easily knocked to the ground as well. So, Cell decides to stop fooling around, as he begins to charge his solar Kamehameha. Vegeta tried to sit up, as he realized he was only a liability in the end, so he apologized to Gohan, which is when Gohan realized that Vegeta knows there's no hope. Goku then talked to Gohan through King Kai, telling him not to give up until fire a Kamehameha of his own, as he knows he can win. Gohan still doubted he could, so he apologized to Goku for killing him, but he said to forget it, as he's having fun there, and he should have fun too. So, Gohan agrees to give it his all and begins charging a Kamehameha as well. Both Cell and Gohan then fire their blasts, as they meet in the middle. At this point, Kale gets up and stands alongside Gohan. She then fired her gigantic blast, which it would combine with Gohan's Kamehameha to form a blue blast with a green swirl around it, which would be called the gigantic Kamehameha. This starts to push Cell's blast back at first, but since Gohan still wasn't using his full power, their blasts go back into a deadlock again. As Gohan starts to lose hope, Vegeta fires a blast at Cell, distracting him. The spirit of Goku then appears behind Gohan, telling him to unleash his power now. So, Gohan does as Goku told him, and the gigantic Kamehameha overtakes Cell's solar Kamehameha. It eventually overtakes Cell as well, disintegrating him, as Gohan and Kale then fall to their base forms and the spirit of Goku goes back to Otherworld. Yamcha then picks up Gohan, while Tien picked up future Kale, Piccolo helped up Kale, and Sala picked up 18. He was going to help Vegeta, but he refused Piccolo's help, As he refuses help, Piccolo takes off with all the others, leaving only Vegeta behind. Since Goku was now dead, Vegeta swears to never fight again, as he then flies off as well. As Herschel gets up and Jimmy Firecracker regains consciousness, he asks what happened to Cell, which is when Herschel claims that he was the one to defeat Cell. Back on the lookout, 18 woke up after Dende healed her, as Kale then explained to her what happened with Cell. Piccolo then told 18 she should thank Kale for being the one to care for her after Cell vomited her out. Gohan would probably blurt out that Kale loves 18 when he realizes it, but this just embarrasses her. 18 then tells her not to kid herself and asks if she really thinks she has a chance, before taking off. Gohan then would then try to comfort Kale by saying that he is still her friend. Piccolo then tells him they need to use the Dragon Balls, so they summon Shenron. Yamcha makes the first wish, where he wishes for everyone killed by Cell to be brought back to life. 18 notices the dragon right away, so she flies back to the lookout and hides behind a pillar. She arrives right when future Kale was brought back, and she watches on in confusion. Yamcha then tries to use second wish to bring back Goku, but he already died once. The Goku then talks to him through King Kai. He tells him not to bring him back, as he realized that Bulma was right about all the villains seemingly come to Earth because he attracts them there. So, he then tells him he's sorry and tells Gohan to tell Chi-Chi that he's sorry, as he then says he'll see them later. Regardless, Kale then tried to use the second wish to make both 17 and 18 into humans again. That wish doesn't work, so she instead asks for the bombs to be taken out of their bodies. He can grant this wish, so Shenron does so, and disappears as the Dragon Balls scatter. When asked about why she wished for that and why she wished for the one from 17 to be removed as well, she says she felt bad for them since they have a bomb in their chest, and she thought 17 was the perfect guy for 18, though she then jumps out and calls her a moron, as she says she and 17 are twins. She then goes to take off, but she turns towards Kale and says later, as she then flies off. Yamcha then tells Kale maybe there's hope for her after all, as Krillin watches on, feeling hopeless in the case of his feelings for Kale, as well as feeling hopeless since Goku is now gone, with him then taking off from the lookout. Tien then says his goodbyes too, as he wishes Kale luck with defeating the future androids, with him then taking off from the lookout. The others get ready to leave, so Gohan asks Piccolo what he'll do, which is when he says he'll live there. Gohan then promises to visit him, and then says goodbye to Dende and Mr. Popo. Afterwards, Kale, future Kale, Sawa, Yamcha, Krillin, and Gohan take off. On the way down, they wave bye to Korin and Yajirobe, before all going their separate ways. When Gohan arrived home, he broke the news about Goku to Chi-Chi, which is when she broke down crying. The next day, everyone got together at Castle Corporation so future Kale could say her goodbyes to everyone. She then got into her time machine and waved bye, and she then disappeared out of sight. Back at Castle Corporation in the future, she hopped out of the time machine and told Bulma about everything that went on in the past. While talking, a radio broadcast comes up about the androids attacking Parsley City, so she turns Super Saiyan and heads off, after promising Bulma that she'll be careful. At that time, 18 was blasting the city in a tantrum because she couldn't beat a video game. 17 has been shot by an old man, but when he goes to kill him, he's interrupted by Kale arriving. 18 tried to blast and kill her, but Kale easily deflected this as she flew up close to 18 and blasted her, which killed her. 17 watched on in shock, but Kale then kicked him away and blasted him too, which killed him as well. She then returned to her base form, as she realized there was still one more thing she had to take care of. 3 years later, they finally had enough fuel for her to return to the past and tell the hero she defeated the androids. However, Cell was watching on as Kale calls out to him, revealing she knows his plan about killing her and stealing the time machine to go into the past and absorb both 17 and 18. When Cell tries to say she can't even defeat the androids, and asks how she'll stop him, she asks Cell where the androids are then. She then knocks Cell away and flies after him, so that they weren't fighting in the city. After turning Super Saiyan, she starts pummeling Cell and swings him around by his tail, and throws him into the air. He then tries charging a Kamehameha, but she easily overpowers his blast with her gigantic blast, which the blast then overtakes and kills Cell. She then drops her base form and goes back to Castle Corporation, where she tells Bulma that she had finally managed to save the future.